Good morning. First of all, I'd like to thank the Chamber for doing this, and it's a very good thing that you come out and hear from the two candidates. I'd also like to congratulate Don Merricks on his first 2 years in the General Assembly. Don sits next to me on the House floor and does a wonderful job representing this area. Don and I also serve on county cities and towns where I'm chairman of a subcommittee, and we meet every Tuesday at 7 a.m. He's always on time. He's always there. Don reads bills, and so that's a good thing in this climate. So thank y'all for allowing me to be here. Here are a few things that I have done to help Southside. I have expanded the Governor's Opportunity Fund. The Governor's Opportunity Fund was created to provide grants or loans to localities to assist in the creation of new jobs. And I care about what this fund can do for Southside to get our people working. I authored a bill in 2007 that lowered the requirements for receiving grants or loans from the fund in areas of high unemployment, which we live in, making it easier for projects to receive money to create jobs. I also supported broadening guidelines to allow more companies qualify for the Government's Opportunity Fund, which will generate additional state and local revenues to our area. Jobs just don't belong to just one community and should be localized in just a few areas of the state. I want Southern Virginia to be just as prosperous as Northern Virginia and Hampton Roads. I have worked to foster regional cooperation between leaders in Henry County, Pittsylvania County, and Danville, excuse me, to create more jobs in Southside. I work with local leaders to create the King Creek Center, the Outside Industrial Park, and a modern industrial park that has paying big dividends for our area. It has attracted private investment commitments of more than $336 million and created over 2,000 jobs. As you know, I'm also a member of the Virginia Tobacco Commission and have been since 2008. The Virginia Tobacco Commission, Economic Growth and Development in the area in Southside Virginia. Since being on the commission, I have helped bring millions of dollars to our area to create jobs. Just most recently, $2.45 million from the commission for the White Belt Project, creating over 400 new jobs. Also, $1.7 million is going to a new industrial park in Henry County that we will be able to create jobs in that area. And at 10 o'clock on Thursday, I'm not letting anything out of the bag, Linwood, that a new announcement will be that we will bring additional jobs to this area that will be announced 10 o'clock this Thursday that the Tobacco Commission helped bring money to. Over $6 million for a mega park that is a joint venture with Danville and Pittsylvania County that the Tobacco Commission will bring forward in next week. So ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you, so I thank you for your support, and I ask for your vote on November 3rd. Thank you so much. Highways here. Put a bill in for I-73. We need to get I-73 through our area so we can have additional traffic through. The AAA bond rating is very, very important. And we are not a full-time legislature, so we have to make sure that what we do in those first 2 months are always what moves us forward. In the enterprise zone, you know, it sounds great, but the problem is the governor of Virginia, Governor Kane, just cut $1.25 billion just last month. So evidently Governor Kane does not think it's very important.
Thank you both for your responses to that question. Now we'll move forward to question number 2, and on this particular one, Delegate Marshall will answer first and Mr. Anderson will answer second. With an estimated state budget shortfall of $1.35 billion for this year and ongoing fiscal challenges for the next budget, what measures do you support to maintain a balanced budget?
Well, the first thing we have to look at is what is core services for the state of Virginia. And certainly to me, core services is K-12 education, public safety. You know, Governor Kane last year was going to turn loose prisoners, non-violent prisoners, that 90 days early. Bad idea. So we have got to make sure that we keep those prisoners in prisons. We've got to make sure we protect the K-12. We've got to make sure that people that cannot help themselves, we've got to make sure that we can help them. But we also need to look at the silver lining in this cloud right now is, and I serve on a couple of different commissions. One of them is called the cost-cutting caucus, and we look at different ways that we can cut the cost of government. But just let's take workforce development. Very, very important. but there's 20 agencies in the state of Virginia that take care of workforce development, and they're spread out all over. We need to look at those type of things, just like what Delegate Merrick's talked about, so that we can cut those expenses. But the main thing we've got to do is do not raise taxes in a recession. We've got to do just like what you do in your business or you're at home. You've got to live within your means. That's what we have to do in the state government also. Ladies and gentlemen, in my 8 years in the House of Delegates, I've worked to increase funding by 58% for K-12 education. You know, better education will help people get better jobs. We need to keep our salaries for our teachers competitive so we can attract the best educators in the area to come here and be in our classroom. We need to keep dollars in the classroom instead of in the front office. That will be a bill that will be introduced this year that says that only 35% can be spent in the front office, the rest of it in the classroom. And let's just look at what we've done. In the city of Danville, for example, $6,500 per student comes to a K-12 education per student in the city of Danville. Fairfax County has a household income of $80,000 a year. $2,200 from the state goes to Fairfax County per student on household. So to me, that is showing we're bringing home money for this area for K-12 education. Ladies and gentlemen, if you talk to economic developers, nobody here, if you talk to them on the state level, they will tell you that a great workforce equals great jobs. And we have got to make sure that we can train our workforce so we can create the environment here to create those jobs. And we are blessed to have two great community colleges in our area, Danville Community College and Patrick Henry Community College, and they play a vital role in workforce development here. And so one of my first bills, actually the first bill I, as a freshman, it was to establish advanced learning and research. But ladies and gentlemen, what we got to do is we got to make sure that we work on workforce, because every economic development will tell you, whichever community, whichever state gets workforce correct will be able to attract a lot of jobs. And as I said earlier, there's 20 different agencies, over 20 different agencies that handle workforce right now. It's way too many. It's too much overhead in all those 20 different agencies. We can take all those 20 and reduce it down to a handful, and then we can reduce the amount of money that we are expending because we have less overhead. So ladies and gentlemen, we've got to make sure that the workforce, we've got to keep our people working, and this is one of the ways we can do so. It's the Virginia Tobacco Commission. The Virginia Tobacco Commission has been, people in Richmond, people in Charlottesville, people in North Virginia do not have those resources that we have in the Virginia Tobacco Commission. We have invested $1 billion. I saw Connie Naho. Connie's on the Tobacco Commission. She's been there for a number of years, more than I have. We have another $1 billion to invest in this area. Other areas of the state do not have that. So I have also positioned myself in the General Assembly to be on the committees that help bring jobs. I'm on County Cities and Towns, where I'm vice chairman of the committee after only 6 years. I'm chairman of a subcommittee. I'm on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources. We hear all the bills that pertain to DEQ that help or hurt industry. I'm on Commerce and Labor. Outside of the commission, I'm serving the Virginia Manufacturers Commission, where I was a charter member. We help manufacturers stay competitive here in the state. And as on the Virginia Tobacco Commission, I am now charter member of a new R&D committee that we have $100 million to try to invest in this area to bring jobs to this area. Thank you. It's a very simple choice. You can select one who has worked to create 6,000 jobs in this area. Someone who knows that teamwork is important on a local, state level, and national level. A person who has worked to get 58% more dollars for K-12 education. Someone who has worked to get teachers pay raises every year from 2004 through 2007. A person who worked to get the Institute for Advanced Learning established and funded. Someone has secured over $200 million for transportation to our area. In 8 years of service in the House of Delegates, Counties, Cities, and Towns, I'm vice chairman after only 6 years and chairman of a subcommittee. I'm on Commerce and Labor, the main business committee in the House of Delegates. I'm on Agriculture, Natural